So chapter 956 of One Piece was so crazy that I just had to come up with a theory about what I think's gonna happen. But before I get into what I think's gonna happen, I think it's gonna help to kind of rehash what was told in this chapter, what we learned. So, for starters, we know that something happened in the Alabasta Kingdom. So that means that either Cobra or Vivi is involved. We know that Sabo, something happened to him, or he did something. Either that A, he was killed, or B, that he killed somebody, being the most likely things. In addition, we see that Blackbeard is seeking some kind of prize as a result of all of this going down. And that can either point to there being an ancient weapon being involved, some kind of intel, or potentially gaining Sabo's devil fruit. But in addition, we learn that sword is a thing, so that establishes world government ties within Wano, and to a majority of the Yonko, that being like Blackbeard because he was a warlord at one point, Shanks because he was able to talk to the Gorosei. Big Mom was going to be recruited by them, if not for the whole she ate Mama Caramel and gained her powers. And then, let's see, and then Kaido obviously because X-Drake. And if you want to count Luffy, you know, Kobe, Garb, all that dealio. And then finally we learn that the warlord system hath been abolished. No more of that pillar. So now all you have is the Yonko and the Marines. And that's going to inherently cause instability within the government system that is currently established within the verse. So what do I see going down? Alright, so I think that Sabo is being blamed for the murder of Cobra. Cobra seems, in my mind, to have been killed because, you know, he took part in the whole destruction of the warlord system. And, you know, because of the whole instability that causes for somebody like Im-sama in the world government. You know, he has a vested interest in that stability of the system because without it, it makes it more likely that, you know, he's noticed as a person because, like, up until the recent chapters, he didn't exist and we thought that was just the system that was going to be there till the end. But it turns out that it's almost like a second layer of the Matrix, where the first layer is what we knew, and the second layer is Im-sama is just controlling everything. So, Cobra most likely died because of that. In addition, you know, he's got ties to an ancient weapon, so it makes sense to take him out. And not only because he's technically a betrayer of the world government system, but also, you know, they could very easily gain access to at least knowledge about the ancient weapon that is currently on the poneglyph in Alabasta. Sabo was more than likely apprehended. He probably wasn't killed by the Marines, mainly because it wouldn't make sense to, you know, do that whole trope again. And besides, it gives the world government more leverage over both Luffy and the Revolutionary Army to keep Sabo alive. So the whole thing with Blackbeard, in my opinion, seems to be this sort of red herring to kind of throw us off and say, oh, Blackbeard's going somewhere else, but in reality, he's more than likely going to show up at Wano. I mean, there's too much stuff for him to get his hands on. Whether it be, in my personal opinion, Kaido's devil fruit, whether it be 2 road poneglyphs that are potentially up for grabs, or I guess 3, because he could technically swing by Zoe, and while going through the less guarded Whole Cake Island, and then as he's stealing Kaido's Devil Fruit, he can also get the Kaido's Poneglyph, so he's just got 3 in one shot. In addition, it doesn't make sense that Blackbeard would go specifically for the Mera Mera no Mi, because if he really, really, really wanted that Devil Fruit, he would have gone to Dressrosa and just get it himself. But he sent Burgess, so I don't think that he's really searching for that specific fruit. I think he's just getting fruits in general. And because Kaido's fruit is just, it's a dragon, so obviously if he is able to have more than 2, and it's more than likely he's gonna have more than 2 devil fruits, he's gonna definitely want to add the dragon fruit to his arsenal. But at the same time, he could also just send his crew to wreak havoc anywhere that he's not. So whether or not Blackbeard's entire crew shows up at Wano, or some of the crew shows up at Wano, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but I would bet money on Blackbeard showing up in Wano. Yeah. With the whole Vivi situation, she's either being captured by Sabo or killed by Sabo, quote unquote. She probably wasn't done either. She probably wasn't killed, because of the whole ties to the the ancient weapon, and she's got ties to Luffy, so probably not gonna kill her. But they had to create some kind of plausible story to paint Sabo in this bad light. He's almost being painted as like the terrorist in this situation. So Vivi is probably being held by the world government almost in secret. And because all of this went down, it's more than likely that the Grand Fleet is actually going to show up in Wano, if not only to protect Luffy. Because as we learn about all of this info, it's all coming out like within a week of the Reverie ending. But they make a specific point in the official release of saying this all came out a week ago or whatever. But then they went back in time. So we know that it didn't happen in the present time with what's going on in Wano. We know that all of this information came out a few days earlier, at a week max. So it's almost like Oda's trying to establish a kind of timeline to give some kind of plausibility for the entire Grand Fleet to show up. Which, also when we realize that, there's not really much of a point of Frankie just going crazy with the amount of people, these ships that he's currently making for the invasion to have, the whole 100,000 capacity on these ships. It makes sense that because we know that the time's a little wonky with when all of this information is coming out, it makes sense that the Grand Fleet's going to show up in Wano. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And by extension of that, they're going to help with the whole Wano rebellion. But we're just going to have to wait and see if all of that comes true. Leave your thoughts, your theories in the comments below, and look forward to actually doing some more One Piece content by actually reviewing chapters. But with that, have a good day.